Hello, everybody. How's it going? Marcos Villegas for Fight Hub TV, powered by a State Trump VIP. Today is Wednesday, October 31st. It's Halloween, so happy Halloween to everybody that's joining us and welcoming us today. I hope you guys have a safe and fun Halloween with your friends and family. Over the weekend, Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou fighting in a not sure if it was an exhibition. I saw that on BoxRec. Ngannou's record was updated, but I wanted to give you guys a firsthand account of my experience over there in Saudi Arabia for this fight, as well as I'm bringing in Abel Sanchez to help me go ahead and review the fight as well. But crazy experience, man. This was I can't really explain it. It was just nuts to see how many people they had over there in person, especially at the gala that they had on Friday over there in Saudi Arabia. It was nuts, like the amount of former world boxing champions that they had there, as well as some like super crazy wealthy, like high net wealthy people. Like the head of DAZN was there, which I found that interesting. You know, some of the PBC lawyers were there, as well as, you know, notable faces. We got a bunch of interviews there on the red carpet that some are up right now on the channel. My chat with Manny Pacquiao talking about how he is working on an exhibition fight with against Floyd Mayweather in Japan, how he still wants to go ahead and fight in the Olympics, which, you know, I find kind of crazy that Manny wants to go ahead and do that for the Philippines and win a gold medal. And Manny being open to having a fight with Gervonta Davis either at welterweight or at a catchweight at 145 pounds. But you guys came here to discuss this fight against Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury. Being there ringside, it was shocking, honestly, especially when the knockdown happened in the third or fourth round. One very well-known media member turned to us and said, man, they need to just strip Fury of the title. How is this happening against a guy who's debuting in his fight? I want to go ahead and break it through the numbers as well, because you know, two things coming out of this. One, I feel those in attendance there in Saudi Arabia, and I think the wider public, even talking to people in the airports when I was traveling, and even my friends via text, all felt that Francis Ngannou won the fight. But seeing the judges' scorecards, it painted a different picture. It painted a fight that's much closer. And looking at the CompuBox stats, I think that kind of paints the picture as to what the judges saw. But to go ahead and help me review this fight, break it down, and just kind of discuss everything that happened, I'm bringing in esteemed trainer Abel Sanchez. So you guys go ahead and hit the like, subscribe, follow us on all social media at Fight Up TV, and myself at Hey, it's Marcos V. I have a few behind the scenes stuff on my personal Instagram, but let me go ahead and bring in Abel Sanchez into us as well. There's my man, Abel. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
All right. Like I mentioned, man, big surprise over the weekend in terms of how competitive Francis Ngannou was with Tyson Fury, given that this was his first pro boxing fight, and he went the distance and knocked down, by all accounts, is the number one heavyweight in the world. Either number one or number two, if you rate Usyk over him. A lot of boxing fans displeased over how in the heck an MMA guy with very limited boxing experience could even hang with someone the likes of a Tyson Fury and knock him down, and by many accounts, by the people watching at home, get the decision in their eyes. But Abel, overall, your thoughts on, I guess, what went down on Saturday night?
I thought that Tyson looked very sloppy. The commentary before the fight from him about drinking 25 pints and being able to beat anybody like Ngannou, all that wasn't necessary. It didn't seem to me like he took this fight very serious. But at that weight and that size men, everybody is dangerous. And I don't feel like the knockdown really was like the kind of knockdown that Deontay hit him with and put him down. It was just hit the top of the head, hit his shoulder, hit the top of his head, and he went down. It's a big guy punching at you. He's very strong. So it happened. But I just think that the responsibility that Tyson has, not only to himself, mostly to himself and to his family, but to the organizations that are supporting him. He should have come in better shape, and he wasn't.
Yeah, he had mentioned during that week that he had a long camp. I believe he trained like 11 weeks, and he looked a lot more slimmer than he did at the opening press conference. But I read, and I'm not sure if this is correct, but I read online that he came in at a career high of 277. I don't know how much he weighed for the Wilder fights. I just know in the second Wilder fight, that was the trimmest I'd ever seen Tyson Fury. But given that, Tyson's been boxing his whole entire life. And I know Ngannou is a huge puncher, but even with him not training, it's still surprising that someone who's boxed their whole entire life wasn't able to take someone out like Ngannou. And I'll touch on the flip side of that, Abel, but what do you make of just overall I don't want to say backlash, but the repercussions from this performance on Fury's side and also like for the sport of boxing?
Well, I think I've said this before. There's a fix for that. Don't turn it on next time. Don't watch him. If you feel like it's unrepairable, then don't watch boxing. Go watch tennis if you're that kind of fan. But I think that whenever a marquee fighter signs the fight a no name, they seem not to get up. Not physically, but mentally, they seem not to get up. And he may have had a 11-week or a 50-week training camp, but was he in training camp? And he may have been, the first day may have been in training camp, but then maybe he didn't show up all the days that he should have. I've been kind of disappointed, and I've seen a trend in his last fights since, say, the Wilder fights, where he really hasn't improved. Not improved in ability, because he's got a lot of ability. Improved in what the fights look like, what he does in the fights, how he performs in the fights. It seems like it's going downhill instead of uphill. And that's disappointing, because he is the heavyweight champion of the world, and he's got responsibilities to himself and to his family.
I thought that was no, okay. I had this, and I get this randomly for certain fights. Like I get a little voice where like people say, no, like so-and-so is going to win and going to be dominant. And I have this little voice that says, no, that's not going to happen. I had that little voice for this fight, and people were like, dude, you're insane. Just because I know that Francis was such a huge puncher. But the other thing that I wasn't too aware of, but the MMA guys on ringside were mentioning how, Francis is in his prime. He's undefeated. He's never, ever really been rocked. This guy has an iron chin because there was a comparison being made, I believe, by Jake Paul and his team saying, hey, these MMA fighters are a lot better than what these boxing analysts and trainers and boxing media members give them, the credit for. And in Ngannou's case, he's in his prime with all those things listed. But for that instance, what Jake was saying, Jake fought, a bunch of guys that were kind of like on the back nine on losing streaks and have either been knocked out in the past or very recently. But with that said, Abel, given how Fury looked, one could maybe make the assumption that he fought to the level of his competition, but people are now saying that Usyk has more than a chance. They might be favoring Usyk to beat Tyson Fury based on how he looked like.
First of all, at the beginning of your question, no, they're not any better. They're not better than we think they are. They are MMA fighters. They're not boxers. Has there been an MMA fighter that has fought a top-level guy other than this out-of-shape Tyson Fury that has done well or has beaten a legitimate boxer, a legitimate contender, legitimate champion? No, of course not, because they're not.
Well, McGregor, did you think McGregor did well against Floyd?
Yeah, Floyd's retired, man. Floyd's 50 years old. Come on.
But that was his 50th fight.
Come on. Seriously, just like the kid in Japan, right?
Tension?
Yeah.
Oh, poor Tension. Oh, poor kid. That kid is actually really, really good. He's actually started boxing now.
But there's different levels. And Tyson's on a different level, and so is Floyd. But Ngannou looked good because the other guy looked terrible because he didn't prepare for the fight. But like I said, I've seen that trend with him in the last fights from starting with the Wilder fights. You can't tell me that the guy that fought Wilder is the guy that fought Ngannou. He just didn't prepare. And it's not about the weight. It's about what he's doing inside the ring, inside in the training camps to get himself prepared for his commitment and responsibilities that he has by being heavyweight champion.
Someone here on the chat is saying Logan beat Floyd, guys. Logan Paul went, the distance with Floyd, but he outweighed him by like 50 pounds. Come on, man.
I say again, has there been a legitimate fight between one of those MMA or YouTuber with an actual champion? No. And it will never be, because they're not going to take that chance. Why take that chance when you can make the kind of money you're making by fighting guys that don't belong in the ring with you?
Well, yeah, I guess this last weekend was the first instance, and I could see the push for an actual rematch that's 12 rounds for the title, which is insane to me, seeing that this was Ngannou's first fight. But on the tail end of the question that I asked you, Abel, given this, does it change anyway how the Usyk fight plays out for Tyson Fury?
Absolutely not. Because that fighter that fought Saturday night is not the fighter that's going to fight Usyk.
You really think that?
I honestly think so. I mean, listen, I've watched guys in the gym prepare for fights that everybody says means nothing. And they always mean something, because you can be embarrassed like Tyson was. And then the next fight, they look like $1 million. You know, it just motivation of opposition has a lot to do with how they look and how they prepare and how the coaches take it. But this is not indicative of what Tyson is going to show up to fight Usyk is.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. And I was discussing this with Michelle Joy Phelps as well, is like Fury, when you look at like the fights, like when he's fought like no-name guys, like he hasn't had good performances, minus the German guy that he fought. I forget the name of the German guy, but like one instance that comes to mind was Otto Wallin.
Yeah.
You know, Otto Wallin, he got cut. Hey, he got extremely lucky that fight did not get stopped against Otto Wallin.
And that guy was, as everybody was saying before the fight, you probably were one of them, is not a threat. This is the Tyson Fury. Come on, he just fought Wilder. That guy's not a threat. And guys start to believe that. Guys start to believe the hype and believe that they're going to just roll over somebody, and they don't prepare as well. And mentally, they're not in the fight. You know, they're just not as focused as they should be.
Hey, you guys keep dropping your comments in here. We'll go ahead and answer some of them live in regards to this fight and other topics you want us to touch on. Abel, you said this does not change your opinion on Fury versus Usyk. I would imagine then you're favoring Fury to beat Usyk?
Yeah, the same as I did before, yes.
And why is that, Abel?
If it's Usyk that is signed to fight Fury, Fury is going to train for Usyk, not for Ngannou. He's going to train like he did for Wilder. He's going to prepare himself physically and mentally for that kind of fight. He knows that Usyk is a heck of a lot better fighter than Ngannou will ever be. So he's going to come into the fight ready to fight that kind of opposition.
Did the sport of boxing, Abel, take a hit with what happened on Saturday night in terms of, like I mentioned earlier, the lineal heavyweight champion having such a difficult fight with Francis Ngannou in his boxing debut, someone who's limited boxing experience, hasn't boxed ever in a professional sense?
Not with the real boxing fans. The real boxing fans understand what this was. It was a farce. That should never happen, because that's the kind of fight you're going to have with a guy that doesn't prepare himself. Because he thought, like you said, I'm going to drink 25 pints and still beat an Ngannou any day of the week. It doesn't happen. It's a big guy that still can take a shot and still can fight back. With the casual boxing fan, yeah. With the haters, of course. But as I said, I always have an answer for that: is don't watch. Go watch tennis.
Hey, I like tennis, Abel. What do you got against tennis?
Nothing. I'm just saying it's a different sport, or badminton or something.
Abel, I don't know. What if he really did train and he was saying all week he's not underestimating him because of how hard he hits? Is it that we're just not giving enough credit to Ngannou? Maybe he is that tough, that good.
No,
No.
no, absolutely not.
Hmm.
He didn't train for that fight. He may have been in training camp for 11 weeks, but I bet you if you talk to Sugar Hill or some of the guys that were around him, he was there. Maybe not 100% of the time, but he was there 11 weeks before the fight. But that he trained like he did for Wilder, absolutely not. I could see it. You could see him pushing his punches. And I think coaches, if they're honest with themselves, they can see coaches that have fighters at a higher level can see the guy was pushing his punches, had no snap to his punches, had no jab, had nothing. And the other guy was as slow as molasses. You know? So uh, when when um, when Tyson Fury is at his best, those punches don't come out like that.
Wow. Okay. So you noticed that, like, I guess what's indicative of that for those people that are here that don't really know what you're saying when you're saying, oh, Fury was pushing his punches, he had no snap in his punches.
He just didn't get his body and in his conditioning to the level that was ready for a fight for an Usyk fight. Let's just say he prepares like he was going to fight Usyk and he fights Ngannou, then it's an easy fight. But he didn't prepare himself in a manner to um, maybe the strength and conditioning wasn't there, maybe the running wasn't there, because after 3 or 4 rounds, it just looked like he was uh, pawing with his punches, not really throwing his punches, not really snapping his punches. And that all comes from thousands of times of doing it in the gym the way that they're supposed to be, instead of just, you've been in gyms where you walk into a gym and you see guys shadowboxing in the ring and they look like they're saying hi to each other. They're not, there's no effort. And then you walk into gyms, as you've walked into my gym here, and you see the guys shadowboxing like they're in a fight. Why? Because that's how you prepare for an actual fight. You don't prepare half-assed and then expect to perform at 100%.
Hey, there's a good comment here, even though this is not the real Eddie Murphy. Could it be Abel? Obviously, he's not the same Fury. Everyone falls off from Father Time.
How old is Tyson?
That's a good question. I know he's probably, I think he's in his early 30s, but he's had wars with Wilder, and we don't know how much of a toll those have taken.
Come on, how many how many guys how many guys have you seen that have had 5 or 6 or 7 wars like that? And Pacquiao, how many wars has he had? And he's still, at the tail end of his career, was still very effective. It's not father time. It's lack of preparation, man. And you're going to see it in the next fight. And hopefully we can talk after the next fight, whoever it may be, whether it's Usyk or listen. Usyk is crafty enough that he may. Even at his best, Tyson may beat him because he is crafty enough and he is talented enough and he is an Olympic medalist and he is all those things. I just don't think so. I, as a coach, watching both fighters and watching their size and watching Tyson Fury here in my gym for about 3 weeks, I don't see it, but very possible. But even if Usyk beats him, he's going to beat the best Tyson Fury. He's not going to beat the guy that fought Saturday, because Tyson Fury is going to prepare for Usyk.
Yeah, no, based on that comment, Abel, you said like, no way. But you mentioned how like, hey, how many fighters go into wars and they're still able to have great careers. But is it any different because they're heavyweights?
No.
Because the power is different, and
No.
especially Wilder, like probably arguably the biggest puncher at heavyweight.
How many punches hit him with? 3?
Yeah, but he was down in 2 of those 3 fights.
Yeah. Let me say this. Go back and go to punch stats and go back to Pacquiao's fights and look at this fight and look at Wilder's fights, and there's like a fourth of what the punches that were thrown and landed.
But those aren't Deontay Wilder punches, though.
No, but Deontay Wilder didn't land all right hands like that. There were jabs. There were, let's just say he landed 10 punches. Look at the Pacquiao. Look at the Pacquiao Barrera. Look at the Pacquiao. Morales? Look at the Pacquiao Marquez. Look at how many effective, hard punches were landed in those fights. And remember, the heavyweights are going to get hurt just like the lighter guys, because the lighter guys are used to getting hit by those guys, yes, and they're throwing as hard as they can. The heavyweights hit harder, but the heavyweights have bigger mass, everything is bigger, everything is thicker. So it's going to be the same kind of impact. If you compare weights, that's why they have weight divisions, because they punch for that division. I think that Wilder punches hard, but Wilder doesn't hit you enough to make you suffer like I think the Barrera and Morales and Marquez fights with Pacquiao would have.
Mm, mm. Yeah, well, another comment on here saying, everybody ages differently. So I guess really what would answer our question is how he looks against Usyk in that fight. But Abel, could it also be, you mentioned that, he didn't have much snap in his punches that, look, I saw a thing that Ngannou is the biggest puncher ever recorded in all of combat sports.
That's
Even
right.
though there's a lot of argument that, like, based on technique, he can't ever hit as hard as Wilder. Fury even said he doesn't hit as hard as Wilder, but he does hit hard. Could it be the reason why he looked so bad was that punch that hit him, in the temple or in that area hurt him, and he didn't really recover because it looked ringside that he was hurt. I believe like in the fifth or sixth round again by Francis Ngannou.
No, the biggest puncher ever is a guy named Julian Jackson, the Hawk. That's the biggest puncher ever. And then maybe Wilder and Ngannou. Until he has fights that can show us a one-punch knockout, where the guy's out like a light, then we can say he's a big puncher. The fact that he did it in the MMA, he's fighting MMA fighters. He's not fighting boxers that are used to getting hit. I would like to see him fight somebody in shape. Whoever it may be. If they're going to sanction a bout for him to fight for a heavyweight championship, then I think he needs to fight somebody, say a number 2, number 3 contender, to see if he can take a number 2 or 3 contender, and then I believe it. But until then, I don't believe he's heavy-handed. Yes, he's a big man. He's 280 pounds, very strong man. Of course, you stand there and let him hit you. Of course, he's gonna hurt you. But most heavyweight fighters don't stand there and just let you take a shot. Most heavyweight champions or contenders don't let you take a shot. So if he can do it to a guy in shape, then I'll believe it. But until then, I just think he's a big guy that can, like I said, if he can hit you, he's going to hit you, he's going to hurt you.
I don't know. What's your assessment of Ngannou from what you saw? Like, would you give him any chance against a Wilder or Joshua? I know they're trying. Both promoters of both those fighters want that fight, and given how he looked, that'd still be a huge fight with a lot of questions surrounding what would happen.
I was impressed with his boxing ability, but not impressed to the point where he's a top 10 contender. Okay? And if he fights Wilder and Wilder's in shape, Wilder will hurt him bad.
What about AJ?
Anthony Joshua, you know what? I don't know how Anthony's doing with Derek. I don't know what kind of modifications they're doing to his approach to the fights. Not necessarily his style, just his approach to the fights. Very talented guy, but sometimes talent is not seen in the ring because of the approach to the fight, the approach to every round in a 12-round fight. So I don't know what he's doing with Derek, and we'll know a little bit more in his next fight. But Derek is a good coach. Hopefully he's able to transform him in a way that makes use of all his talents.
I have Abel Sanchez here with me, guys, esteemed trainer of many, many world champions. Go ahead and hit the like, share your comments as well so we can have some good back and forth banter. If you have any questions for us as well, go ahead and put your questions down, as we're lucky to have them join us for a little bit longer. Abel, given the picture of the heavyweight division, and now, Ngannou coming in, do you think we see more of these? Do you think that the MMA fighters are now finally catching up and getting to a certain level that they can compete with these boxers?
I hope not.
You hope not?
Hope not.
Hope not to what?
Hope that they start at the bottom. Say they start at number 10.
Yeah.
Fighter number 10 or fighter number 8. Prove to us that. Don't make it a sideshow like this was. Prove to the boxing fan that you belong in the ring with the Tyson Fury. Not just about money, not just about a sideshow, but about a fact. Listen, the top 10 guys, they all work their butts off to get to that point. Why does this guy get free pass?
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. Because he's the former UFC heavyweight champion.
It doesn't matter. It's a different sport. It's like you're going to have a Michael Jordan started quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys. Come on.
Hey, Jordan started for the White Sox.
Did he compete at the level that the guys that had been there for a while did? No, he was a sideshow. Just like the other one that wasn't a sideshow was Bo Jackson.
Yeah.
Okay, but Michael Jordan was a sideshow. He was a great basketball player, but sucked at that level at baseball.
Hey, he started a few games.
Why? For what?
Why? Because he wasn't that good.
That's the publicity stuff, man. It's all for ratings. But I think that the guys in the top 10 deserve that respect. That don't just sidestep these guys that have been working all their lives for that position. Have this guy fight a top 10 guy. If I have this, even a number 5 guy, I would be okay with. Not even start at the bottom 10, but have him fight somebody that is hoping to get a title shot at Tyson Fury.
But doesn't that give him credit, though, that he stepped in with the number 1 heavyweight and look what happened?
Listen, if they gave you $6 million or $10 million, you step in with Tyson Fury too.
Yeah, probably would. But I would look terrible. He didn't look terrible.
He looked terrible. He didn't look terrible. He looked, if you'd have put him in there with a let's say a number 5 contender that's in shape, that's vying for a title shot against the heavyweight champion, and that guy's in shape, do you think he's gonna train like and lose his position like Tyson Fury did? This was a 10-round fight. He had nothing to lose. Tyson Fury had nothing to lose. A number 5 contender, on the other hand, would have his position to lose. So you think that he would be in the kind of shape that Tyson was? Absolutely not. So now, if Ngannou can beat a guy like that, then okay. Then you know what? I take everything back. But he did look good for his level, lower level.
So, I mentioned earlier in the program here that, and the title of the video is "Who Really Won This Fight?" It seems like the MMA public, a lot of the general sports public, feel that Francis Ngannou won this fight, given he knocked down Tyson Fury. But Abel, I want to go ahead and bring up the CompuBox numbers. Let me see if I can get this working and show to everybody, because it's indicative of what we saw. Let me go ahead and add it here. Okay, here are the CompuBox numbers. Not sure if we could see it. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on my thing, but Abel, we'll go ahead and run them through, because I think this paints a very different picture, because I've seen a lot of people say, robbery, this was a robbery. Francis Ngannou won that fight. He knocked him down. He hurt Fury later in the fight, in rounds 6, I believe. He landed all the more eye-catching shots. He should have gotten it. And people are saying it's a robbery. But as I go ahead and list the numbers show a lot closer fight. Total punches landed to the body: Fury 31.8, Ngannou 25. Punches to the body, even though I don't think they're given enough credit in general in boxing, those still count as power punches. Total jabs, body landed: Fury 39, which is 28.5% of his total jabs to the body landed. Ngannou 19%. Power punches, body landed: 37.2%. Ngannou 31.9%. Based on those numbers, Abel, if you're going by the CompuBox numbers, and I know a thing of that is like, well, how many of those punches were landed in what round? It doesn't really paint a super accurate picture. But according to the CompuBox, it shows it was a close fight, but percentages wise, Tyson Fury won the fight.
Okay, but remember that the only way a round changes if there's a knockdown. It's
Yep.
a 10-round unless it's a really, really devastating round for one guy or the other. It's always a 10-9 round. So it doesn't matter if one punch was landed or 10 punches were landed. If there's no knockdown, it's still going to be a 10-9 round. So if the numbers are on Tyson Fury's side, that's what the judges are looking at. Punches landed. In the knockdown round, obviously, it's a 10-8 round for Ngannou. But if Tyson landed more punches in the other rounds, then he's going to get the round. And there was 3 judges that judged it. Yes, there's a lot of people that are saying that it was a robbery. But those people that are saying it was a robbery are people that have something to gain. It's MMA people. Have something that, of course, Ngannou is an MMA fighter, and they're going to be on his side. But you have to go by first of all, the punches landed, and you're showing it that.
I'll go ahead and put them on the screen again.
I could say the same thing about our fights with Canelo. If you go to the punches and maybe Canelo landed more punches and we lost the fight, I will always say that we won the fight. Why? Well, I say that because I have a vested interest in that. As the MMA or the UFC guys have a vested interest in making sure that Ngannou is declared the winner. but it's not about feelings; it's about facts.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing that's indicative of if a fighter's going to win a fight is the power punches landed percentage.
But
So,
understand
yeah,
this. Power punches, and explain this to the people. Power punches are anything different than a jab.
yeah, any
Anything different than
other
a jab.
than a jab, yeah.
Okay, so a power punch could be a little uppercut. A power punch could be something to the shoulders. If it's not a jab, it's a power punch. That's misleading. Power punches should be power punch that landed like it hurt something, like it was a knockout punch. A pity pat punch, if it's not a jab, it's still counted as a power punch. So it's misleading.
Yeah, it is misleading. It's subjective to the judge that's watching to kind of make an assessment. Was that a damaging punch? Because at the end of the day, the judges score who's damaging the other fighter the most. That's the number one thing is, are these punches hurting this other guy?
Okay, but when you say power punch, so understand that one, the judges are not feeling the punches. Two, if it didn't rock them, how the hell do they know how hard the punch was?
Mm.
So it's misleading because any punch could be a power punch other than a jab. That's very misleading. Unless it's a knockdown and a punch wobbled the guy, then now we're talking about a power punch.
Mm. Yeah, and some guys jab so hard that jab should be considered a power punch as well.
Absolutely. Yes.
Well, let me go ahead and run these numbers just to kind of paint a picture here. The first round, Fury landed 37.5% power punches, 3 out of 8. Ngannou 3 out of 9, which lowered his percentage. By that account, round 1 was very close. Round 2 is again.
Marcos? Why don't
Yeah.
you do, instead of doing the percentages, do how many punches were landed total? How many punches were landed total in the fight?
Total punches landed thrown right here. Okay, let's see. It doesn't show it overall. It goes by round by round. Let me see here. Total punches, body landed. Total jabs, body landed. Power punches, body landed. It's that. Total punches landed thrown. And this is round by round. The first round, Fury 44%, 11 out of 25. Ngannou, 6 out of 23, 26%.
No, I'm not talking about the percentage. I'm talking about the
Yeah.
actual punches landed. Another 6 punches or 10 punches or 15 punches. How many punches landed in the fight? That's how a fight should be judged. Who's the punches? I could land one punch and knock somebody down and win the round. But if I throw one and it doesn't land and the other guy throws 5, then the guy that threw 5 should be winning the round.
According to the numbers, it's painting a picture that it was close, but Fury was he threw the more punches, landed the more punches.
Okay. No, I wouldn't go as far as I wouldn't look at throwing the most punches because you could throw it just in the air. I would go at who landed a punch. In CompuBox, the stats always tell you who landed more shots. So if round 1 he landed 20 punches and Ngannou landed 1, then or 6, I should say. I think that's what you said, 6. Then Fury should win that round. You would think, and unless there's a knockdown. Then if you go to the second round, how many punches were landed in the second round? I'm talking about total punches, not just jabs, total punches.
Total punches. Let me see here. Let me pull it up again. Total punches landed in the second round. The percentage or the actual number?
The actual number. Forget about the percentage.
Yeah. Okay, Fury landed 7 punches in round 2, and Ngannou 6. So round 2 was close.
Okay, that's an even round. Okay,
yeah.
So the next one.
Okay, round 3.
But wait a minute, it can't be an even round because judges don't judge even rounds. So depending on what the mastery was inside the ring, the generalship, the ring generalship, the judges will give the round to whomever controlled the round.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah, I just remember ringside. A lot of the people there ringside were giving Ngannou a lot of these rounds, but like I mentioned, the numbers are painting a different picture.
Of course, it's a Cinderella story. Come on.
Yeah. Round 3, Fury landed 1 punch in round 3, and Ngannou 7.
Okay, so it's 1-1 right now.
Okay, well, yeah. Round 4, which I believe that's the knockdown, the extra point, which evened things up.
2-1.
Fury landed 6 punches, and Ngannou 8.
Okay, 2-1. Ngannou.
Close again.
Or 1-2. 1-2. Fury and Ngannou.
Round 5, Fury landed 9 of 22 punches, and Ngannou 6 of 27.
2-2.
Jeez, it's close. Round 6, Fury landed 9 of 23 punches, and Ngannou landed 5 of 24.
3-2.
Round 7, Fury landed 5 of 17 punches. Ngannou 5 of 20.
Okay, 4-2.
That was what, round 7? Yes. Round 8, Fury landed 9 of 29 punches. Ngannou 10 of 39 punches.
5-2.
5-2 for Fury. But the extra point. So it's really what, 4-3?
No, I'm not talking about rounds. We'll
Yeah.
do the extra point at the end.
Okay. I just mentioned round 7.
No,
Round
you did 8. You did 8. Do 9
yeah.
now. It's 5-2 and 1 even.
Yeah. Okay. Round 9. Tyson Fury landed 8 of 23 punches. Ngannou 2 of 16 punches.
Okay, 6-2.
Round 10. Tyson Fury landed 6 of 14 punches. Ngannou 4 of 22 punches.
7-2.
7-2. Is that with the extra point?
No, we'll do the extra point at the end. 7-2.
Okay, that's it. It was a 10-rounder.
7-2 and 1 even.
It was a 10-rounder. There we go. 7-2 plus 1 even.
Okay,
Yeah.
so let's make it 7-3 or 6-3.
Mm-hmm.
So it was an even fight. Was it a close fight on the judges' cards? Yes, it was a close fight.
Yeah, it was.
And it deserves to be a close fight on the judges' cards. But again, the guy that didn't show up made it a close fight. But yeah, of course you're gonna want the Cinderella story to win the fight. It's good for marketing. It's good for a lot of things. It's good for marketing for the MMA, the UFC. It's good for that. But he didn't win the fight.
I'm going to go ahead and try to add a different screen on here to share to go to the scorecards. Let me see if I can go ahead and do it on here because this is the first time I've done this picture-in-picture thing. Let me see if I could add it, if I could remove this.
And you know what the crazy part is? The punches landed.
Mm-hmm.
The punches landed is how crazy a heavyweight fight is. Okay, I shouldn't say that. How crazy out of shape heavyweight fight is.
There we go.
3 punches, 1 punch landed in a fight. What? 3 minutes.
So these are the official scorecards here, as you guys can see, Abel, how the judges scored. One judge scoring it 96-93 for Fury. The second judge,
that's what we.
94-95 for Ngannou, and the third judge 95-94 for Ngannou.
It couldn't be.
Yeah, that's what do you mean it couldn't be? That's the scores.
You're telling me that Ngannou won the fight then?
No, 95-94 for Fury.
Oh, you said Ngannou.
No. Did I? I'm mistaken. Yeah.
Okay, so it's a close fight. It's a one. We had it a 3-point fight. One judge had it a 3-point fight. One judge had it a 1-point fight. But it's a close fight. Again, it's a close fight because a guy didn't come in shape.
Yeah, let's see here. The closest. No, this one, the first one, Juan Carlos. I can't read his name. I don't want to say Payano because that's a fighter actually, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't that fighter.
I don't think so.
Yeah, but he gave what rounds 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, and 10 to Fury. The second judge, Ed.
Wait a minute. What round was the knockdown? What round was the knockdown?
The knockdown was in the third round.
Oh, third round. Oh.
Yeah, third round was the knockdown. Let's see here. The second judge, Ed Garner. Do you know of this Ed Garner judge?
No, I don't know. I saw the names and I didn't know any of the judges.
Yeah, so Ed Garner is the one that gave Ngannou the 1-point victory based on the knockdown. He gave Fury the second round, the 5th, 6th, 7th, and 9th round, which is kind of in accordance with all the other judges. All the other judges were in agreement for round 5, 6, 5 and 6 were all in agreement, as well as the first. No, not even the first round, just 5 and 6. It's interesting. The second judge, I can't read. Krebs gave rounds 1 and 2 for Fury.
Krebs is here from California.
Oh, so you're familiar with Krebs? What do you make of his work for past fights?
You know what? I honestly, I really don't pay attention to most of the judges because it doesn't really matter. I mean, they're gonna have an opinion. That's the fight they watched. How did he have it?
Krebs had it 95-94 for Fury.
Okay, well, it's a close fight. I mean, but I don't really pay attention to. I don't, because unless it's like Gennady's fight, we got to choose the judges, but you choose judges that are neutral, judges that you hope are going to be fair. I don't know how they chose these judges. I don't know if the guys involved had a choice in who the judges were, but they had. The good thing that I didn't see in this fight is that I didn't see a 98-92 scorecard.
Well, you 96, 93. That's kind
Well,
of,
we had it 3 points.
yeah. Okay.
Didn't we have it 3 points?
Well, no, CompuBox had it 3 points.
Okay. But I mean, in the adding it, I'm
Yeah,
talking.
and the adding, yeah. Based
So,
on the punches landed.
yeah, and it may have been even wider if it hadn't been for the knockdown. But the knockdown made it a night. It could have been 97, 90, 92.
Yeah. Yeah, because this third judge, Krebs, gave Fury, rounds 1 and 2, 4, 5, 6, and 9. So yeah, not a robbery then. Close fight.
It's a close fight, and again, Fury made it. In my opinion, Fury made it a close fight. He just if he doesn't learn from this, I feel sorry for him, and I hope, as I said a little while ago, that the trend doesn't continue that I've seen in Fury's fights. He's supposed to be getting better. He's supposed to be improving because he's got responsibilities to his family, to himself, to his people around him, to the organizations, and to the public that's buying the fights.
It's just still crazy. Ngannou had a close fight with the #1 freaking heavyweight in the world that's been in boxing his whole entire life.
So is Ngannou.
That's insane to me.
But Ngannou's been fighting his whole life too.
Yeah, but come on, Abel. There's levels.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that. Was Tyson Fury at the level that you've seen him before? No. Ngannou was at a level that nobody's ever seen him before. Again, if he was to fight a number 5, number 4 contender and does the same thing, then I'm a true believer. Just like I wasn't. I'll go back a little bit. I wasn't very keen on Timothy Bradley's method of approaching a fight until I saw him fight Providnikov. I saw him fight Providnikov live, and that made me a fan. That made me a fan because of the approach he took to the fight. So when Tyson Fury takes this kind of approach to fight an Ngannou, who he said he could drink 25 pints, and I couldn't do that. Drink 25 pints and beat an Ngannou. Nobody could do that.
Andre the Giant. That's Andre the Giant stuff right there.
Yeah, you're right. But that's all fixed, wasn't it? I think it was.
Yeah.
I have to give credit to Ngannou for showing up and trying and being better than a lot of people thought he was going to be as far as his boxing is concerned. That he was a boxer that could compete at a top 10 level. I don't know until I see him in a top 10 level guy. Not that Fury's not a top 10 level. He's a world champion, but he wasn't prepared in a way that he should have been.
Yeah, there was an elbow thrown here at Force Eagles. Bring it up. Would you take points from Fury for his illegal elbow? And look, the ref didn't catch it. So why does it matter? Like if he would have caught it, who knows? Only Fury's the one that knows if that was an intentional elbow thrown or it was something where he misjudged distance, and because he missed the punch and it was the tail end of the punch, the elbow ended up hitting him in the forehead. But I'm actually very surprised that did not cut Ngannou.
Listen, I'm an Omar Salido fan. I'm a Lomachenko fan. When they fought each other, Omar Salido hit Lomachenko so many low blows when the referee
Orlando, you called him Omar.
When the referee was on the opposite side of the ring, opposite side of the punch, so many, and they didn't penalize him for 1 round, 1 point or nothing. So listen, there's a referee in there to guard against all those things. If he doesn't catch it, he doesn't catch it. I mean, Bernard Hopkins was very good at doing a lot of things inside that you could say were a little bit illegal, but legal. They're trying to win. They're trying to win again. They're going to try to get away with as much as they can get away with. And if they get a point taken away, that could be a fight. I mean, I try to teach my guys not to do that, because if we're in a close fight and we make a mistake like that because it's in our DNA, that we practice it in the gym, then we may lose a fight that could come out to be a fight that was the breaking part of a career, let's just say. So there's a lot of things that you do in there that are not on the up and up, but that's why it's a warrior sport, one-on-one.
You're a trainer, Abel. You have a nuanced eye. from the looks of it, did you see the elbow?
Of course.
From the looks of it, was it a distance thing, or you think like maybe he might
No,
have?
I teach. Believe it or not, I teach uh, throwing a hook from either side, and how I teach it is not because I want them to do it this way, but it makes me turn the wrist and turn the hand. I want you to pretend to be, when you throw a hook, pretend to be hitting me with your elbow. What that does is that keeps you from slapping the punch.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he was practicing that, and what it was kind of an overhand hook right hand, like a 45 coming down.
Almost
So
like a bolo punch, right?
kind of
Yeah, right.
kind of
Overhand.
like an uppercut from the top. Okay,
Yeah.
but the way he threw it, if you look at his hand coming down, he's turning his wrist in. So the way that I teach a hook in my gyms is that I want you to hit me with the elbow in practice. I want you to try to hit me with the elbow, so that way your wrist turns, your hand turns in, and you hit me with your knuckles, not with. You've seen a lot of fighters in the ring throw a hook and they kind of a slappy hook, right? It's because they're not turning the wrist. So by imagining you're trying to hit me with a hook, it forces you. Imagine that if you can do it in your mind, it forces you to turn the wrist in, because you're turning the wrist into your chest, and the elbow comes across. Could it be that? I don't know. Could it be that he tried to do something illegal? I don't know. But I I don't think there was an intentional punch that way. But I wasn't inside. It wasn't me that threw it.
I think if anything, though, even though Ngannou lost, he really won, because now fans want to see a rematch. The rematch would be freaking huge. You have so much drama built in now with this. Ngannou has so many options now. People are now wondering, hey, who's a bigger puncher, Wilder or Ngannou? People are now wondering, hey, AJ. People have always questioned AJ's ability to take punishment, to take punches. You have a
Wilder,
big guy like Ngannou. What can he do with Joshua?
Tyson Fury is not a big puncher. Tyson
Mm.
Fury is a volume puncher. Tyson Fury is an accurate puncher when he's in shape. Wilder is a big puncher. If Ngannou fights a rematch, it doesn't go 6.
People were saying that with this one, Abel.
In my opinion, it doesn't go 6, because
Yeah.
it will be the same guy on the other side.
Yeah, but won't we get a better Ngannou?
Impossible.
Nah, he's gonna improve,
Impossible.
baby. Nah, he's
Impossible.
gonna get better, Abel.
Possible. Unless they fight in 10 years. But if they fight within, let's say, the next year, Ngannou is not going to. What improves the fighter, understand, Marcos, what improves the fighter is not doing repetitions over and over again. It's fights. It's fights against the top level guys. Training camps are great. Sparring is great in the gym. All that stuff is great and is necessary to get in shape for the fight. What improves the guy is not only the training camps, but the actual fights themselves. Because you're in there against somebody that's trying to do something to you and trying to hurt you, your eyes gonna be wide open. Everything's gonna about you is gonna improve. Uh, if you don't have fights, and if he doesn't have fights, he's not gonna improve. Yeah, he can do all the things in the gym, but the game time is what happens. What matters. Game time is what matters. Practice is great, but game time is what matters. A 4-round fighter that's had 2 or 3 fights is not going to be as good as a guy that's had 30 fights. It doesn't matter if the 4-round fighter had 300 amateur fights. He's not going to be as good as the guy that has 30 fights. It's a progression, man. It's an improvement by doing the actual game time.
Hey, this comment right here that we're getting from Hal Dangor, which is actually an interesting one, and thank you for sharing it. Marcos, don't forget the lack of video footage that Fury couldn't study. All the circumstances together prepared for the unexpected script. And that might be true, right, Abel? Like, these styles are so different. You don't know what to expect because, these boxers, you fight guys that are very traditional, and you know what to expect. And you even saw with Tommy Fury and KSI, like these weird styles that like you can't really prepare for because the guys are so unorthodox.
Who's got a weird style?
Well, KSI has a weird style, but this commenter right here is saying that there wasn't a lack of video footage that Fury couldn't study. And given Ngannou's an MMA fighter that's converted to boxing, like his the timing and the rhythm of his punches are a little different. No, you don't think so?
Ngannou looked like a 6-round fighter. Ngannou looked like a 6-round fighter that's progressing. Ngannou looked like how can I compare him? Who can I compare him to? Gosh, difficult for me to think of a big guy like that in lately in the heavyweight division. 6 to 8 round fighter that had decent skills, threw his punches a little tight, a little muscle bound, but strong, but short arm puncher, not really a long arm puncher. But Tyson Fury at that level, just like a lot of the guys that have that many fights, they've seen every style. You said yourself, Tyson Fury was fighting all his life. He's seen all his styles. It doesn't matter the style. What did Mike Tyson say? Everybody's got a plan until I hit him in the mouth. No, Tyson Fury never had that chance. Why didn't he have that chance? Because he wasn't ready for that. He wasn't in shape to do that. But no, Ngannou looked like a normal 6 to 8 round fighter for me. I mean, he didn't look any different than any other boxer. In fact, that could have been a detriment to him if he'd have been a little awkward, like you're saying about, I've never seen KSI fight or any of those guys. But if he'd have been a little awkward, maybe it would have been different for Tyson. But he looked like a normal fighter.
Yeah, sharing a lot of your guys' comments here. Go ahead and keep bringing them in if you have any questions as well for us to go ahead and answer.
I'm gonna move my phone over here.
Yeah, no worries. You know, like I was mentioning, Abel, though, you know, the big winner out of all of this is Ngannou, because he wasn't supposed to do what he did. And everybody was counting him out. People were saying, hey, knockout by Fury in round 2. You know, this is going to be a massacre. You know, Ngannou's going to look terrible. He's going to gas out. He's not going to know what to do. He's going to look like he's drowning in there against a Fury. And you know, credit to Ngannou for not only going way beyond expectations of him, but just, you know, his story as well, man. He's such a remarkable person with a remarkable story, and he keeps on shining, man. And props to him. I think really, you know, even though he lost, he won, and he's already won. But he's won because, you know, people also clowned him for leaving the UFC, saying like, hey, why would you leave the UFC? Leave your title, leave, you know, you're going to leave and not make any paydays. And then look what he's doing. So big ups to Francis Ngannou.
No, yeah, but you know, week before the fight, I did some interviews, and I was asked what would happen. I didn't say he was going to be blown out. I said it all depends on what Tyson Fury does. Tyson Fury is probably his worst enemy. His worst enemy in all the fights. I did an interview before the first Wilder fight, and they asked me what. In fact, I did BBC Radio, I think, for that fight, and they asked me that week of the fight, Monday or Tuesday, what I thought was going to happen. I said, well, Tyson Fury is going to win 11 rounds, and then he's going to make a stupid mistake because he's his worst enemy. He's going to put his hands down, think he can't get hit, he's going to get knocked down, and if he may get stopped or may end up winning 11-1. And what happens in the fight? Exactly that. He is his worst enemy. In this particular fight, he's his worst enemy because he didn't get in shape. He thought it was going to be an easy fight. He thought the guy was going to lay down for him. He thought the guy was not ready for a mediocre Tyson Fury. And obviously, the guy's got some experience. The guy's got combat experience. And that's good enough to hold your own against a mediocre Tyson Fury or any heavyweight that's not prepared like he prepared to be able to throw punches, even though they weren't that many punches for an entire fight.
All right. That is Abel Sanchez. Abel, hey, good chatting with you, man. Thanks for stopping by with us. And I think we lost Abel. I'm not sure what happened there. I'm going and text Abel. You guys go ahead and put your questions, your comments, hit the like button as well. Subscribe and follow us via social media. Let me go ahead and just message Abel and thank him for the time here, for sharing with us. What do you guys think? Who did you guys see winning this in Fury versus Ngannou fight? Go ahead and let me know as I'll put some of your comments up and we'll have some banter back and forth. Thank you, Abel. Phone cut out or died. All right, you guys. But like I was mentioning, you know, this puts Francis Ngannou in such a good position now, man. Holy moly. Like, what a performance from him. Everything was there for him not to do what he did on Saturday night. And it was just, the night overall was freaking crazy, man. Like, seeing the stars that they brought out, like, you know, Kanye West, Eminem, all the boxing champions that were there in attendance, the little show, the pre-fight show that they played before the main event, freaking ring coming up from the ring like in Rocky IV. Like that would have been legit if Ngannou would have been there waiting, and then they had Tyson Fury come out to the ring. But the ring walks, like everything about it was freaking nuts. And it looks like this is what they're gonna do over there in Saudi. It's gonna be big events, big time production. They were telling me, because it's funny story. Two of the production people I knew on this. One was a former producer of ours that we used to work for at Fox. The other was actually one of my old fraternity brothers that works in production as well. And he was working the red carpet, and it was the craziest thing to see him actually. But he was telling me that they brought in the guy that directs the Super Bowl halftime shows to go and do this show. And I was like, geez, man, how much money did they pay that guy to go ahead and come in and do that? And given all the people that they had there, they had, CR7, Cristiano Ronaldo, his wife Georgina, Mike Tyson, Conor McGregor, R9, the original Ronaldo, Luis Figo, which was crazy to me, like seeing all these people there in attendance. Samuel Eto'o, a lot of the Cameroonian football players were there in attendance. I believe Mane was there as well. That's so many celebs in attendance for this. And boxing is it's so based on money and getting as much money as you can in terms of everybody involved. At the end of the day, it's prize fighting, and you fight for the highest pride. And I don't think there's anybody that can contend with the amount of money the organizers, which I believe is an extension of the Saudi government, are paying for these fights. So I think, really the Middle East is going to start becoming a hotbed for big time boxing. And we're going to see, a lot more of these type of fights, crossover fights, given the intrigue and how well of an account Ngannou made for himself. We're going to see probably Ngannou in more of these fights. Honestly, I would love to see a rematch, an actual legit 12-round one. I'm curious who's a bigger puncher, him and Wilder. I want to see that. Him and AJ, I think, is the one to me that makes the most sense. That could be the most competitive as well between the two, just given the punch resistance of an AJ. And look, we're slated to have Eddie Hearn on with us shortly, not on this live, but I'm going to go ahead and chat with him. He feels that AJ just completely wipes the floor with Ngannou in 6 rounds. So the big fights, the big purses are being paid out there. So, hey, the biggest fights in the world are going to happen over there as well. So, man, it's a crazy freaking time when you look at it, man. And given that they're throwing their hat in to have the World Cup there, I believe in 2030. We've already seen, golf and F1 go over there. Qatar, I heard, is attempting to throw their hat in the ring as well to get fights over there. They hosted the World Cup last year, so yeah, a lot of transition time in the world of just sports in general. With what's going on over there in the Middle East. Dion Williams, thank you for the super chat, man. Swapping Ngannou with Joshua on Saturday night. Are we still saying Tyson Fury won? It would have been a completely different fight, bro. Honestly, completely different fight. And who knows? Only Fury knows if he had a very good camp or not. He did some interviews, one with IFL, the other with Boxing King Media. Him saying, hey, blame no one but himself. He's not making any excuses. He says, blame me. At the end of the day, I showed the CompuBox numbers. And according to the CompuBox numbers, by the numbers, when you look at it, total punches landed, total power punches, they favor Tyson Fury. Slim, but they favor Tyson Fury. And if I'm looking at those numbers, say I didn't watch the Fury versus Ngannou fight, okay? And it was some other fight. Oshaki Foster fought some Mexican cat over the weekend. I saw the round between them. Tremendous freaking round. Oh, my God. Round of the year. That round 11 between them. It was a DAZN card in Florida that happened. If someone were to show me the CompuBox numbers of that fight and they reflected the CompuBox numbers of the Fury fight, I'd be like, geez, that was a really close fight, but based on the numbers, Tyson Fury won. So, judging combat sports is so freaking subjective. And there is a lot of bias there. You have to take the bias out and really look who's landing the cleaner. You got to go through the criteria. Who's landing the cleaner punches? Okay, if that's close, if they landed the same amount of punches, you got to go to the other criteria. Ring generalship, aggression, defense. Who's showing all that? And based on that, you make your decision. But it's so subjective to what you like as a person, as an individual, as you think who should win what round. They train the judges to score by who's landing the most damaging punches in the fight. But like I mentioned, in the sphere of public opinion amongst casual sports fans, amongst MMA fans, and hell, man, even some boxing people there ringside, they feel that it was close and that Ngannou maybe would have gotten that win. But like I said, the numbers paint a different story. And if you look at the numbers, Fury won that fight according to the numbers. Dion, what's up, man? I'm saying swap the fighters, same performance. Hey, if it's the same thing, swap the fighters, same performance. You're saying, hey, it's a close fight. Let's look at the numbers. Let's look at the CompuBox numbers. What do the percentages say? You go round by round by round. Who landed what punches? There's only a few punches separating each guy. Okay, like which one of those punches were more damaging? It's a close fight. It's a close fight. It was a close fight, which shows you how amazing that is that freaking Francis Ngannou had such a close fight with Tyson Fury. It still blows my mind, man. So big up. The hugest amount of respect goes to Francis Ngannou. Board boxing. Jab, manage aggression, accurate, and consistently. Knockdowns don't always win. Ngannou missed nearly every counter hook. It was close, but Fury won the fight. And the title of this whole video is Who Really Won? When you look at it, numbers don't lie. Numbers do not lie. CompuBox shows that it was a close fight. But CompuBox shows, like I mentioned, if I didn't see the fight and I'm just going by the CompuBox numbers, you'd be like, damn, this is really tight. But Tyson Fury won the fight. According to 95% of Earth, though, according to Jarrell, Francis won the fight. Man, Daryl, the MMA world won for reals, for reals. That's another thing too. So it's funny, Jake Paul's team tweeted out a thing like, hey, these MMA fighters are a lot better than what people give credit for. Look at these guys that you criticize me for fighting. They're a lot better than what you think, which maybe he does have a point. Honestly, maybe he does. Maybe the counter to that is, look, bro, Francis Ngannou is in his prime, undefeated, never lost a UFC heavyweight title. Guy's never been seriously hurt in a fight. He's never been knocked down or knocked out. All those other guys you fought. Ben Askren, old, coming off hip surgery, was knocked out, was retired. Not the same as fighters, Francis. Tyron Woodley, coming off 3 back-to-back losses. You go the full 10 with him, and then you knock him out. People would say, yeah, hey, that's people were saying coming into the fight, that's not the same Tyron Woodley that you're fighting. Anderson Silva had already been knocked out. Many said that not many. He wasn't in his prime. Yes, he beat a Chavez Jr. that I know because I worked pay-per-view that Chavez spent a lot of that camp in freaking rehab. But not to take anything away from the performance that Anderson did. And that's, I guess, the biggest amount of respect you can give Jake, that he did beat an Anderson Silva that was very, very, very competent in the ring. Like that to me, like even though, yes, it was an older Silva, a Silva that had already been knocked out many times, still very game, very competent. Nate Diaz, on the back burner of his career, tough individual as well, but stylistically, that was favored to him. So yeah, maybe he does have a point. Maybe us as boxing people need to be, stop with this. I don't want to say this attitude like that. No, this air of arrogance. Like these guys are so much better than these guys. Maybe the MMA guys are tough, comparing them 10 years ago to now, they've made so many leaps and bounds in terms of their striking. And yeah, we're seeing that they can hold their own now against actual boxers. Now, if they're on the same level as boxing's elite, boxing's pound for pound, no, of course not. Because they're jack of all trades, and boxers specialize in one art. But Jesus, man, big ups to Francis Ngannou. He was the real winner of this event in terms of opportunities opening up to him, and just props overall to where he's gone and how he's defied the odds. So salute to Ngannou in terms of that. I'm going to go ahead and play a clip now with you guys. I had a chance to speak to Dmitry Bivol before all this craziness, before I went over to Saudi. I was just so inundated with work that I didn't get a chance to release this. I'm going to go ahead and release it as its own piece, but I'm giving you guys this as a bonus. So go ahead and do me a huge favor, guys. Go ahead and share, let people know that I'm going to roll this clip with Dmitry Bivol right now live with you guys. So like, share, subscribe as well. Follow us at Fight Up TV on social. Follow me as well at Hey, it's Marcos V. I'm going to go ahead and roll this clip with Dmitry Bivol. So let's go ahead and roll the clip. Enjoy, guys. Let's see here. To Showtime. No more boxing. End of 20. Whoops. Oh, that's the wrong clip. Psych. That's actually boxing promoters reacting to Showtime going out of business. There's another clip we're going to roll, actually. But here's the clip with Bivol.
How has this time been for you, Dmitry, being away from the ring for so long? Has it been frustrating at all?
Not too much frustrating, but I had this experience before in the pandemic. Yeah, I didn't fight 1.5 years. This time it was a little bit different. I had my personal changes in my life. I had my injury, and I was covering my another problems with the health. Some small problems. Every athlete has some small problems with shoulders, with knee, with elbows, and I feel like, when you are taking car to the service, and after service you are taking it, and it's better. And now I feel like I got my service physically, and mentally I a little bit become more confident, I think.
Oh, wow. Why?
I think I just thought about my last fight, and I just accepted what I did last year, and now I just see more clear my future with my career, more calm, more confident.
The goal for you is undisputed at 175 pounds. But given, your last fight against Zurdo was, a dominating fight from you. Do you feel, given the time off, that when you return, like you mentioned in December, late December or January, that you could be that good, or if not better, in this return fight?
Only that time will show us how I will be. I can tell that I will worse, I will better. It's interesting for me too. I hope, of course, I will be better, because now I have more experience than before my last fight. I hope that I'm getting better.
Given that you've been away for so long, is there extra motivation or something you want to prove to people, to fans, in this return fight?
You mean in January?
Yes.
How I see it. I don't want to prove to somebody something. I want to prove myself that I have my skills, and I need to how to say it, realize my potential.
Hmm.
You know, for this I have big goal. Yeah, to be undisputed champion. To be undisputed champion, you have to move. You have to do some steps, and I see the fight in January. Of course, it's one of the steps to my goal, which I have to which I have to go through. But it's still serious fight. It's still I have to be ready. I have to get serious this fight, like it's my last fight in my life. This is my thoughts.
Yeah, no, interesting. Is there something from that last fight that you're looking at now and you're looking to improve in this camp, if anything?
Yeah, of course. I wanna use more combinations. I wanna I wanna I wanna push more. If it makes sense. Yeah, I wanna move forward more
Pressure
and
more.
pressure more. Yeah, I wanna pressure more. I wanna use some another punches. I wanna use more body punches. Yeah, of course. Every time I wanna improve something. I wanna be better. Of course, there is no fight which I had that I was happy for 100%, maximum 80%, because I see my fight and I see I I should do this better. I should be here better. I should prove myself, or I should improve myself here and here.
Well, it's hard, Dmitry, because you have another guy trying to hurt you in these fights.
It's hard, of course, but only like this you can improve yourself.
So, do you have a date at this point, Dmitry? I know fans are wondering. They want to see you return to the ring. Have you been given a okay as to when you're returning and who you're fighting?
We have couple opponents with whom we are talking about, but this question is better if you ask Vadim. Vadim knows better about
Any news on
about the
that end,
name,
Vadim?
about the names, about the date. It's better to talk with Vadim about it.
Yeah, Marcos, just like right now, we're very close to trying to finalize a date for the latter part of December or beginning of January in the US. And it's looking like, Chicago was discussed, maybe Florida, most likely Vegas. And we should have more information by the end of this week or next week. The main problem really is the opponent, and that's why there's the whole holdup in trying to finalize this, because at first we spent a lot of time trying to make it work with Munguia. That went back and forth, and there were just some issues on the weight and trying to work it. And I understand from Munguia, the only upside here for this fight is that they're both on the zone, and Munguia is another Mexican. He's a tough guy. It's a good fight, but other than that, it's hard to make it because he's still coming up from 168. We have to meet him either halfway or go down to 168, which might not be the right thing right now. So that kind of that has been holding things back a little bit. At this point, we have Hot Rod. There's a guy from Florida, Radivoj Kalajic is his name. He's a guy that fought Beterbiev before. There's also discussions of maybe Ronald Gabriel. He's the guy that fought Benavidez before. I'm sure you've seen him on Showtime before. I don't know what where he's at, or if he's how much he's in the running. We added him to the list. I know there's discussions of Ahmed El-Biali, and Lyndon Arthur was another guy that we were trying to figure out if he'd be interested. But it just seems like most of these guys are just a little bit in their comfort zones in a way, so we're kind of just, I'm waiting for Matchroom and the guys to see, which guys are actually interested in the fight. But that's the bottom down list right now.
That is Vadim Kornilov that is helping out with translations and giving us this information, the manager of Dmitry Bivol. With not a lot of opponents, Dmitry, does that make you want to move up in weight?
I tried to think about it sometimes. Maybe in the future, yeah, but when I hope I will reach my goal, and of course I need to do some step move up to achieve something else. Maybe it will be cruiserweight because I saw the fight. I saw the fight Ramirez against Smith. Yeah, why not? If they can do it, why I can't move up?
How soon do you see that happening, Dmitry?
When I got more fat. When I get more fat. No, to be honest, I don't know. I just need to finish with my weight class, and then I will think about something else.
Yeah, there's the one fight that everybody wants to see.
Because even in my weight class, I'm not a big guy. Usually, I'm smaller than all my opponents. To fight in cruiserweight, my weight should be more than 200 pounds. But usually my weight is less than 200 pounds.
Yeah, that's tricky because I think a big advantage you have over the people in your weight class is you're a lot faster than them because you're smaller for the weight.
I don't think that this is my biggest plus, I think it's more about some boxing IQ, I hope, because I believe that boxing, it's not about speed or power. It's about your technique, your skills.
No, certainly.
Of course, you should have some power and speed, but the main thing is your skills.
No, certainly. Like you're how technical you are is one of your biggest advantages. I was just mentioning speed because you are a lot quicker. And you moving up, if you put on weight or muscle, you might lose that speed in a new division.
Yeah, I could, but I don't want to think about it. No,
Marcos,
it will take too.
Yeah, we brought up in the press before. David Morrell, who's he's like I guess he's the middle. Is he the champion or is he the mandatory? I think he's the regular
ranked
champion.
high. Yeah.
Mandatory.
No, it says I just opened it around WBA World Super Middle Champion.
Okay.
So I guess he's like the regular champion below Canelo.
Yeah, there's only one champion at 168 right now. Dmitry, you beat him, and that's Canelo. But you said you had brought up the name of Morrell for a potential fight, Vadim?
We brought that up, yeah. We never heard back from any of those people. I mean, he fought. I'm looking right now. He fought in April against Yamaguchi Falcao.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see anybody else on the list that I would say that qualifies him. And he fought Aidos before that. Aidos Yerbusuhuli, Calvin Henderson, Aliantes Fox. And he's fought some guys, but at the end of the day, he probably is just not ready. He hasn't fought anybody of this caliber, but he's the man. He's just a guy that Canelo will say that we tried to not take some kind of offer that he said, but there was no offer, obviously. And if this fight was being discussed, you and I know this was going to be discussed well in advance. It's not like you go fight in Mexico and then you say, "Oh, we sent Bivol an offer and he wanted too much." But at the end of the day, that was just all talk. That was just all kind of good PR, trying to tell the fans that I want that fight. But the bottom line, I think, before we talk cruiserweight, and you asking like when is that going to happen, I think it's easier for Dmitry to go to 168, and I'll let him speak for that and see what he says. But I think that there's some bigger fights out there right now at 168 as well.
No, of course. That was what I was going to get to. I know you mentioned in the past that you would move down to 168. You wanted to fight Canelo at 168 to get the undisputed titles. Is that too much of a sacrifice to go back down to 168 now that you have had a lot of time at 175?
I think it's easier to move back on 168 than to move up. For me, it's easier with my weight. Of course, it's easier.
Given that, then.
But you didn't ask me about 168. You asked me about cruiserweight. This is why we were talking about it.
Well, yeah.
About 168, we were talking a lot before.
Well, yeah. You said opponents. You pretty much almost clear out the division. The one fight that we want to see you with at 175 is Artur Beterbiev. I would imagine you are confident that fight happens. He had an injury for his fight. He's fighting at the beginning of the year. How soon do we see that one, Dmitry? You and Beterbiev?
I every time hope next fight. But of course he has fight, and I ask my team every time when we can do this fight, how we can do it, and Vadim, tell us about
Marcos. It's just right now there was a medical situation, as you know, right? I mean, as far as I know, Beterbiev had some kind of an injury or jaw injury. Obviously, that pushes things off. He was supposed to fight in August. Now it's January. It seems like it's not a big deal, but that's like almost half a year. That's a long time. So now we have to fight in December, January, and then talk about that. But as far as I know, some of the conversations I've had with Matchroom and Top Rank regarding this, as far as I know, if all this comes together, they're ready to do it after Ramadan next year. So if he wins, if he beats Callum Smith in January, it will be, I think there will be very serious discussions about this fight happening in, May to July of next year.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's good news. What do you think about that, Dmitry?
I like it. I need to make a fight too. And then in June or July to make a fight. It's better June. It's great. I would like to do it, of course.
It'd be perfect timing. It would be perfect timing, I think, if all that happened as planned.
Yeah.
And we're trying to see if the Saudi Arabians or the UAE, Abu Dhabi, that's almost our second home after that big fight. We got very close with all the guys in Abu Dhabi, and we're hoping that we can come back there and make this. This can be one of the biggest fights in boxing. I mean, that would be a great location as well, considering their appetite for big fights.
Yeah, no, I would imagine that's a fight that you want, Dmitry. But after his Jermell Charlo fight, Canelo was asked, "Hey, what next opponents do you want?" He said he doesn't care, but his trainer said Dmitry Bivol, Jaime Munguia, or David Benavidez. How strong is there a desire to go and have a second fight with Canelo at 168? And does that rank higher than having an undisputed fight against Beterbiev?
I didn't take as a serious, to be honest, too much about a rematch with Canelo, because it was only talking. It was just words, and I have my own way. Of course, it's better to fight in my weight class for 4 belts. Yeah, but if they want a rematch, it's not enough just talking. We need to do some moves, and we know who should do some moves. It's not me, because I'm ready to fight. But I don't care about it too much. I'm just focused on my weight class now, and on the fight against Beterbiev. It's a great fight, to be honest. It's for me as an athlete, I see him as a great fighter. He's very big puncher. He's the most biggest puncher in boxing today, not only in the light heavyweight class. And for me, it's like interesting to check my skills against opponent like him.
curious, were you impressed by Canelo in that fight with Jermell Charlo?
To be honest, I didn't see all fight. I saw a couple rounds, and what I saw, I expected. I expect that he will push him, and but I didn't expect that Charlo will not confident too much. You know, he wasn't confident at all. To be honest, what I saw, it's my just personal opinion, and Canelo won. It's just we expected it.
No, yeah, a lot of people would agree with you, Dmitry. People said that he fought scared, he fought not to win, he fought not to get knocked out, Jermell Charlo. But others have brought up, hey, Canelo should have knocked him out. He's the smaller guy.
He's the smaller weight class, but if you see in the ring, the Charlo looks bigger than Canelo. Who told it that she should knock him out? It was good end of the fight. He just won.
After though, he said that he's 100% now, and he alluded that he had been not at 100% in his previous fights with John Ryder and with you, and that now that 100% Canelo beats everybody at 168, that no one can touch him at 168. What do you make of those comments?
To be honest, I didn't see something new. It was how he was before. It was the same for me. How I see. Maybe I'm wrong, but it's my opinion. He didn't show something new, some combinations, I don't know what else. He was used the same weapons how he was using before. Maybe inside of him.
Go ahead, Dmitry.
Maybe inside of him, he felt more confident. But from outside, I couldn't see. But he had a great job against Ryder and against Charlo, of course. Good job.
Vadim, you were going to chime in on something?
Yeah, sorry about that. I think on the Showtime, on the feed, one of the commentators said that Charlo was exactly the same size and weight as Bivol on fight night. And if I didn't mishear, maybe it was just size, but I think he said that they were exactly alike on fight night.
Yeah, he puts, all fighters put on a lot of weight after the weigh-in, close to 20 pounds.
What his weight was in the fight?
I think I read something or saw something that he said that he was around 175.
Around 175. Okay.
What are you thinking there?
They were fighting a 168. It's good. It's good. He didn't gain too much weight. Yeah, but it's good. I don't understand fighters when they gain around more than 15 pounds just for one day. I don't understand how it works, to be honest.
Well, yeah, a lot of people would be like, "Yo, Dmitry, though, but you fight at 175. How can you make 168? You're you've been full at that weight."
How? Because when I go on the scale, I had breakfast and then I go to weigh in. And during the fight, my weight is like around, how many pounds is it? 185 pounds maybe maximum.
Maximum. Wow.
And of course,
You'd still have to lose
80,
about 15
82,
pounds.
82 and 82 and a half, 83 kilos.
Yeah,
I
about
don't know how many pounds.
8 kilos,
It's
8.5
around
kilos to get to 168. Yeah.
No, Вадим, переведи, пожалуйста. Sorry, Вадим, translate.
How many kilos in?
Well, no, I'm saying he would have to
Closable?
still, if he's weighing like 185, he still has to lose close to like 15, 16 pounds to make 168. Is that feasible at this point? He keeps saying that he can make it 168 easily, but man, that's a lot of weight to cut.
Он говорит, что ты точно можешь сделать, учитывая, что 185 паундов, например, весишь в день боя, а тут надо 168 взвешиваться, что как бы много надо скинуть.
Now I got your question. You know, in normal life, my weight around 190 maybe pounds, and to make 175, it's easy. I'm just starting my training camp, and my weight goes down. And I know a lot of fighters who's fighting at 147, and they are losing their weight more than me, more pounds than me. And I feel like I'm not tired. I'm not dying when I do 175. I feel like I have something. I can cut more, but I don't want to do it because it's a little bit annoying me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember these feelings in amateur. You know, I was
angry, annoyed, hungry.
Yeah, angry, and I was thinking about only food, drink. I didn't think about my fight. But now when I become pro, I moved a little bit upper, and I'm enjoying the process. I'm not thinking about food. I'm thinking about how I will be in the ring. Of course, if it's big reason to make 168, of course, if the belt's there, I will push myself. I will do 168, but for good reason.
Okay, so you said you weren't impressed too much from Canelo, that he showed you the same. So I would imagine you're confident in a rematch that you beat him again. Does it look any different though? Do you feel in a rematch you're even more dominant to a point where you could potentially stop Canelo?
To be realistic, of course, I don't feel like I will do better or I will do worse job because it was more than years ago. We changed. Sometimes you could change just in a couple of weeks. You could be different, and it doesn't shows you if I beat him once, I will do it easier second time. Maybe I will be more confident, but I don't know about my physical condition. I don't know about his physical condition. It's still interesting fight. It's still a big challenge for me.
If you want to chime in also on this next question, Vadim, but Dmitry, you could go ahead and answer first. So then how do we get the rematch then? What needs to happen?
Vadim, what needs to happen?
Boxing is unpredictable, you know. It's hard to say what needs to happen, but anything can happen. But we don't need to get the rematch. I think Dmitry also said that. I mean, right now the focus is to try to get a fight in December or January, and then just focus on Beterbiev. If Bivol is the winner of that fight and he's the undisputed unified world champion at 175, before we talk cruiserweight, we'll probably talk super middleweight. And with everything that's happening in boxing today, we just look at the news. Look at what Showtime, with Showtime going out of business, HBO did that before. Everything that's happening, anything can change every single day. There could be some new turns around the corner that we're not expecting that could change the format. But I know one thing. As far as the rematch with Canelo, what needs to happen is Canelo needs to be basically in the corner, and he has to have no other choice except fighting Bivol. Because I don't think he will ever do it unless he has no choice. I think Bivol is the very last boxer that he would want to fight again, or fight overall.
So when it was being discussed, they had mentioned that you guys were just asking for way too much money. Is that accurate at all? And would you make of those comments when they started, his team, Canelo's team, started saying all that?
Nobody asked me about it. Nobody. How much do you want? Nobody asked me about this.
There was no conversation. No, I mean there was some talk, but it was like more. It was like a 2-3 minute conversation. Nothing serious. Wow. No, no specific date or numbers or anything like that.
Okay. Well, hey, like you mentioned,
but he told it. Maybe his team didn't tell him all information because he was so confident when he told it. Yeah, but maybe his team didn't tell him the truth, that they didn't talk to us about.
Marcos, I don't know. I think he had to change networks in order to avoid this rematch. And that's just my personal opinion. That's not Dmitry saying it. That's just my personal opinion.
That's your personal opinion. Yeah.
It's more. It's and at the end of the day, I understand business. I understand he had to. He got a good deal and all of that. But at the end of the day, if anything, we could have discussed doing this fight on any network, right? That's not. That wasn't discussed either. And on top of that, when he went to sign over with the PBC and Showtime and all of that, do you think that Bivol was being offered anything from that side? I doubt it. If it was being discussed, it was on the DAZN side at that point. Just to be more specific, I mean, at the end of the day, PBC and Showtime had their own plan for who Canelo would fight, and Bivol wasn't one of the fighters on that roster. I mean, you heard what I heard somebody saying from that side, that they didn't think that Bivol was a real top level fighter, or he wasn't an elite fighter or something like that. So those are the things that you understand, that there was no offer, there was nothing specific. This was all just talking to the press.
So Dmitry, then you feel that it's all talk also, that like Canelo doesn't really want to rematch you?
I think I don't think about it, to be honest. I just don't care. I think about my career, what he wants, what he really wants, what he doesn't want. I don't have to think about it. I have to think about what I want.
Given this whole time off, Dmitry, I know it's frustrated. I know a fighter who is active is a happy fighter and a dangerous fighter. But do you see it at all as a way that you gave yourself a chance to heal up from injuries or to get better in any other areas?
Vadim, translate please.
Ты считаешь, что этот период сейчас был на пользу, что это было хорошее время чуть отдохнуть, восстановить себя, какие-то травмы и так далее?
I try to think about everything positive. I think about, like, if I got this pose, it's better for me. And to be honest, it's really better for me. I think everything what happened, that God gives it to us for good reason. Maybe today we not realize that it's good, but tomorrow we will realize that it was good. And I'm glad. I'm a happy person. I have a good health now, and I'm hungry for fighting now. Yeah, it was a pause, but I had the pause before 1.5 year, and then I got a couple fights, and I become the best fighter of the year. And I hope something waiting me in the future too. It's not just better reason. It's not just something bad happened. It's for good reason.
Yeah, that's a good way to look at it too. And sometimes these situations are blessings in disguise. The extra time off gives you time to just recover both physically and mentally from doing this sport, a very hard sport for such a long time.
Yeah.
To go ahead and finish off the interview, Dmitry, what do you want to tell fans about your return, about what's been happening with you? What would you say, last message on them that are awaiting your return and want to see you back active, fighting multiple times in a year?
To be honest, I'm not the person who loves talking, If I don't have something actions, I don't like talking about nothing. I'm not good in this stuff. I'm not like Tyson Fury, who just good talking and make something news. I just could say that I'm training. I'm still training, and I still have my goal. And if you like my boxing, just be a little bit patient, and I will come back in January, and I hope we will see good fight.
Well, yeah,
thank you, and thank you everyone who supporting me, who's messaging me, who believes in my skills, who likes my style, and thank you.
Well, thank you for giving me the time to talk to you, Dmitry. And yeah, fans are looking forward to undisputed fights for you, either at 175 or at 168 as well. That is Dmitry Bivol. Dmitry, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Bye, Marcos.
That was Dmitry Bivol. That was actually a clip, a long clip actually. That was actually the full interview that I did with Dmitry. I haven't even released that yet. Like I mentioned, I did it a day before I left to Saudi Arabia for this Fury versus Ngannou fight, and I just didn't get a chance to release it. I even spoke. I ran into Dmitry, and he's like, "Hey, where's the interview?" But I spoke. I have another interview coming with me, dude. I banked so many freaking interviews for you guys over there that week. I got interviews with Evander Holyfield coming, with Dmitry Bivol coming, with, man, off the top of my head, I can't even remember, but I banked a lot. Teddy Atlas coming, Roy Jones Jr. coming. Tomorrow I'm going to speak to Jorge Masvidal, Eddie Hearn. So we got a lot of stuff coming your way, guys. I'll go ahead and do another live on Thursday. Maybe I can even get Eddie on live with us. But as you see the comment here, subscribe, hit the like button, and share. Yellow, did I get your super chat? Let me go ahead and go through the super chats right here. Yellow, thanks for the shout out. Thanks for the super chat. He got beat by a novice is stupid. Francis is an elite champion. He trained for 4 months. He's getting ranked as top 10 WBC. He's a rarity. Well, bro, if you're training in 4 months in something, that technically means you're a novice, dog. Like that's what it is. So that's what it means. He's a novice in comparison to Fury and these other fighters that have spent years and years and years perfecting and developing their craft. But Francis is a rarity, bro. If you guys know his story, know what he's been through, and just the fact that he was able to do what he did against Tyson Fury, holy ish, my God. So I do agree on that, man. He is a rarity for sure. I actually have how much time? We've been on live here for an hour and 44 minutes. I have another clip of boxing's top promoters reacting to the demise of Showtime. Actually, I might package that in tomorrow with the stuff that I get with Hearn and Masvidal. I'll answer a few more of your questions for just a little bit longer. So if you go ahead and have comments or any questions you have for me, go ahead and throw it on the live chat. Just do me a huge favor, guys. Hit the like button. subscribe if you haven't already to the channel. If you're new to us, we got you in terms of content and everything amongst that. And of course, follow us on social media at Fight Up TV. Our IG is popping, bro. Follow us on IG. Follow me as well at Hey It's Marcos V on Instagram. I have a lot of behind the scenes stuff that I post on there as well on IG. MAW, you got that right, bro. Smash that like button. That's for sure. Let's see here, Gelato. Is that the name of your dog, bro? I don't know. Your dog's doing the people's elbow. They're going to have to bump someone off the top 10. Imagine if he tries to fight Ngannou, because it would be a crazy story. I actually want to get clarification from Mauricio Suleiman about that, to be honest, about the ranking, because from my understanding, this wasn't an officially sanctioned fight. Let me see if Tyson Fury's box rec reflected that it was a pro fight. Let me see here. Tyson Fury box rec, because I wasn't aware of this. From the information that I had gotten, this fight was an exhibition fight. Okay, wow. It counted. It counted. Okay, that's news to me. It was a pro. There was so much murkiness about that, if it would be a pro fight or not. This was a pro fight. 10 rounds. It goes on Tyson Fury's record. He is now 34-0, with Francis Ngannou having a professional boxing record of 0-1. Wow. Okay. Huh. Hard Times Boxing. You have good interviews, Marcos. I have the best, dog. Come on. Hey, I got to toot my horn there. Great live, MVMAW. Thank you for that, bro. I really appreciate it. Let's see here. Common sense. Francis is a could've, would've, should've, but he's no professional boxer. He lost, but he did it in great fashion. Do you guys agree with common sense? Go ahead and leave your comments. Let me know if you do or not. Mike Evans says Fury wasn't throwing either. Lawrence wants to see Bivol fight in the Western United States, in California, or in Vegas. Neil says he threw more than Francis. Spirit says, and now Francis is about to be sanctioned by the top 10 by the WBC. Neil says Bivol win. Lance says Bivol wins as well. Hey, we're gonna be back live tomorrow, guys. Like I said, with Freddie Hearn. It's Halloween. What are you guys gonna do for Halloween? What are you guys gonna be dressed up as? No, Eddie Hearn tomorrow, as well as Jorge Masvidal tomorrow for the channel. I'm gonna get the reaction to this, plus a lot more, especially with Jorge, because there's talks, there's little whispers, little Tweety birds telling me in Saudi that the next fight for Jake Paul is potentially Jorge, Mr. Jorgito Street Jesus Masvidal in Miami, on that day before of that Sonny Edwards versus Bam fight, which that's going to be a tremendous fight. I'm actually looking forward to that fight in Arizona. You guys like this potential Masvidal versus Jake Paul fight? I'm going to ask him, just be like, hey, is this accurate or not? So we're going to get an answer. And even then, I don't know if he's going to tell me the truth or not, because a lot of times people in this space will deny until a press release goes out. And then it's like, bro, really? You told me no, and now it's yes? And then they try to say, like, we're the ones like making stuff up. So I like that Marcos doesn't cross boundaries, but always sticks the needle far in. Thank you for that, Miaz. I was taught to be objective. Don't favor one person over the other. Let the person get their side out, get their story out. Allow them that, and not interject too much, if any, personal opinion when I'm interviewing people. I went to journalism school. I got a proper schooling on this sort of stuff. What the yen? I think so, right? That's the yen. What the yen? I rewatched the fight again after the shock of first time, and Fury won by 2 rounds, which is still crazy, isn't it, bro? It's nuts. If we would have been saying this to ourselves a week ago, been like, yo, dude, I just came back from I jumped in that hot tub time machine, all right, put some of that Chernobyl in the water, went back a week and talked to you guys and been like, yo, I just came back from the future. You're not going to believe. Francis Ngannou knocks down Tyson Fury and gives him a competitive fight in which a lot of people think he won. You'd be like, get the F out of here. No, freaking get out of here. We all would have been laughed off stage. All right. But it happened. It's crazy that it happened. I still find it a very just, dude, it's just crazy. It's crazy. Like I have a hard time to kind of compute that he was able to do that. That's for sure. Alan. Francis may have lost his scorecard, but he won in life. What he did was insane. I had him winning the fight. A lot of people had him winning the fight, bro. Funny story. I got pulled over by TSA, and the guy was going through my shit, and he saw my badge, my press badge, with the fight with Fury and Ngannou, and he was like, "Man!" And to him, he felt the TSA agent. And shout out if you're watching this, bro. I forgot what your last name was, but shout out if you are. He was like, "Man, Ngannou won that fight." Like I said, a lot of people felt Ngannou won the fight. I'm going to answer a few more of your guys' questions because I am starving. Mr. Shah. Joshua gets destroyed by Ngannou, Fury, Wilder, and Usyk again, and Zhang. I don't know about that. Steven. Francis has solid boxing footwork and cut the ring off well. He's got skills. Boxing didn't look bad. Fury did. He probably came into camp at 350 pounds. The one thing that I did notice that Ngannou did real well, two things actually. He was able to pick off a lot of punches from Tyson, and he kept this hand right here, his right hand very high, very close. He's holding the phone the whole time. So props to Dewey Cooper for drilling that into Francis. But even then, Fury landed some freaking big punches on him. And Ngannou has a chin, like I mentioned. He's never been knocked out. He's never been down. So he's able to take all that stuff. Mike Evans, and all the more, Ngannou was the one putting the pressure. Fury was fighting on the back foot the whole time. Only thing he did was land more jabs. Body shots equals Ngannou. Power shots equals Ngannou. Let's hear. The man survived in the desert 7 times in Morocco trying to escape his country. He was homeless, eating rats, the CAM UFC champion, and then brings heavyweight champion to a split decision. So it's a win for the PFL. It's a win for Francis Ngannou that he's able to do that, man, to be honest. The same Ngannou left hand that KO'd Alistair Overeem in 2017. The man has exceptional power. And this is why I'd be very curious to see Ngannou in with Deontay Wilder, Ngannou in with AJ, especially people question the chin of AJ, just to see who's a bigger puncher, Wilder or Ngannou, even though I think Wilder's quicker, has the technique. And, Einstein's equation, E equals MC squared, speed equals mass power. As we've seen time and time again, in boxing, it's better to have speed and moderate power than like this clubbing power that takes forever for you to land a punch. So that'd be interesting, man. Those are all big fights for him as well. Deontay Wilder wanted to fight him in the cage. Imagine that. I don't know. It's the first time I've heard that, to be honest. Jorge is another story for Paul. I'd take Jorge. Francis was too strong for Fury to bully. Hey, you know what? That's a good observation that you brought up, that actually I forgot to mention it too, that we brought up ringside, that, yeah, Francis is very strong in the clinch, and usually Tyson Fury is able to big man his opponents. He goes in the clinch and he leans on them, and he's able to really manhandle them and really use his weight. And because of Francis' extensive wrestling and MMA experience in the clinch and having that kind of pummeling strength in the clinch, it was a lot different story for him, where I feel he couldn't be as effective as he usually is in his other fights, Fury as well. The Godfather of Boxing, Francis said it on the show. What show? What do you say? Let me know. Wilder wanting to fight in the cage. Hey, man, if Wilder wants to do that, man, big ups to him, man, because that takes a lot of balls. No wrestling or whatsoever experience. Wrestling strength is a different freaking strength, man. I'm telling you, it's a different strength than all these other sports. Wrestlers have crazy freaking power, and it's functional power because you're grappling a guy day in and day out on the mats. And trust me, I'm telling you, it's a different type of power. Let me guys know as well, man. Hit the like, share, and subscribe if this is your first time watching us. We had Abel Sanchez on earlier of the show. We had a big breakdown of the fight and who we felt really won the fight based on the numbers, the CompuBox numbers. Key takeaway there: close fights aren't robberies. This Fury and Ngannou fight was close, but based on the numbers, Tyson Fury won the fight. Then we also had my interview with Dmitry Bivol, where he talks about rematching Canelo, going down to 168, moving up to cruiserweight as well. So go ahead and check that out on the live. Give us a follow at Fight Up TV, at Hey, it's Marcos V on my Instagram. Like, share, and subscribe as well. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up, guys. This live chat will probably more than likely be live tomorrow. I'll give you guys a heads up on the community tab, as well on our Twitter at Fight Up TV, at Hey, it's Marcos V. When we're going live, I'm scheduled to have Eddie Hearn and Jorge Masvidal tomorrow, as well as this clip of boxing's promoters, top promoters, reacting to Showtime going out of business. So with that being said, we've almost been live for 2 hours. I got to go eat. I got to start doing Halloween stuff and a bunch of other stuff. Have a happy and safe Halloween. Don't eat too much candy. Don't drink too much. Actually, drink as much as you can handle. Go and have fun. I wish you guys all the best, and we'll see you guys tomorrow as well on here live. So peace out, guys. Hit that like button one more time. Subscribe as well. Thank you guys for watching. This is me. It's Marcos V of Fight Hub TV. See you guys mañana. I'm ending this. Peace out, everyone.